going on, YouTube? Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Definitely the dead period of college football at the moment. And the dead period I call between National Signing Day and the beginning of spring practice. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Also during this dead period, that's when you start to get a lot of shade of gray type commentary. You know, basically, I don't want to say made up stories, but really reaching kind of stories because there's nothing else to talk about. I mean, you can talk about a recruit here and there, or you could talk about, like, say, what I do sometimes is talk about some things that, you know, happened during the Gus Malzahn era or some stats that Auburn needs to improve on coming into the next season. Who's going to be the next breakout player? Then you have other media outlets that have the way too early top 25 rankings for the season just to get fans riled up. Then they'll come up with who has the top 10 defense, who's going to have the top 10 defensive line in the country. All that stuff you can expect within the next 2 or 3 weeks until spring practice starts and there actually starts to become some content to talk about. Until then, you're going to have articles like these. There was an article. I'm not a name dropper. I'm not a basher or anything like that. But I was a little, not necessarily disturbed, but I was a little disappointed in this particular article where the writer basically all but blamed Bryan Harsin. You would think after about 3 weeks that I would stop calling Bryan Harsin Kevin Harsin. I don't know. I'm just stuck. Maybe that's his middle name. Who knows? No, actually, his middle name is Dale. Either way, Bryan Harsin came to Auburn end of December. About a week before Auburn's bowl game against Northwestern, where Auburn lost that game 35-19. He had a chance to attend that game. Now, in my opinion, mindlessly, media outlets are actually blaming Bryan Harsin for the outcome of this 2021 recruiting class, which ended at 27. Statistically, one of the lowest rated classes in recent history. Usually Auburn with Gus Malzahn, especially since we started really looking at this stuff, kind of ticks around the 10 to 15 range. I think the highest he ever had was ranked number 7. Gus Malzahn also was trending this particular season. As of the last day of his employment at Auburn, he was around 50 to 52 in the recruiting ranking. Bryan Harsin only being there an unreasonably short period of time is taking the brunt of why recruiting is what it is. Mainly, and I'll say this, mainly because he's the guy that's there. I think it's absolutely mindless for any media outlet to say any of this recruiting stuff is Bryan Harsin's fault. But now, here's the kicker. Bryan Harsin is still not off the hook, though, because there's still going to be a certain level of expectation, at least from me, actually, because I know what he's got left on the team. I know he has a serviceable amount of players. If they can figure out the offensive line, you're talking about a team that can win about 8 or 9 games his first year, giving what's coming back. That's including what I think will be a nice little battle between Bo Nix and Demarcus Davis at quarterback. So I think it is absolutely ridiculous to blame Bryan Harsin in any way, other than in a way you need to be praising him because he jumped up 20 points and has still got 5 more spots of scholarships that he could still fill. And he's already, if you look at, all these media outlets that you guys tend to look at and read it for what you want to see, some of y'all, not all of you. Some of you look at it objectively. But he's already shooting transcontinental with recruiting. He's already going to 2023, 2022. He's not letting, so far, you see a different approach to recruiting. He's tackling more in-state recruiting. So we just gonna have to see what this Bryan Harsin era will bring. But I'll leave you with this. Come on, guys. 1, 2, 3 weeks on the job, and you expect an immediate turnaround recruiting wise. I get that we have become so accustomed to complaining about Gus that we've kind of spilled this over into the Bryan Harsin era. Come on, guys. Let's not put the cart before the freaking horse here and give the guy a chance to get his program together. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger War Eagle. Doing another car cast talking about Bryan Harsin at fault for Auburn recruiting 2021. How's that possible? Y'all take care.